There's nothing quite like pottering about in the garden, nurturing life and creating something truly beautiful. But we all know that gardening can sometimes feel like an expensive hobby. Well, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be. You see, creating a garden that brings you joy shouldn't break the bank. Whether you're an experienced gardener or just starting out, there are plenty of simple, budget-friendly ways to transform your outdoor space into a haven of peace and tranquility. So if you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, join me as we explore some practical and affordable tips to help you achieve the garden of your dreams without spending a fortune. Let's dig in. Now, some might say starting from seed is a bit like taking the long way round, but I find it immensely satisfying, and you really can't beat the feeling of nurturing a plant from its very beginnings. Plus, it's a fantastic way to save money. Think about it. A packet of seeds costs a fraction of the price of buying established plants from a garden center. And you know what's even better? You get far more variety. From unusual tomato varieties to heritage flower species, the world is your oyster when you grow from seed. You can start your seeds off indoors on a sunny windowsill using simple seed trays and compost. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, try making your own biodegradable pots out of newspaper. It's a fun activity for the whole family, and it's a great way to recycle old newspapers. Once your seedlings are large enough and the risk of frost has passed, you can carefully transplant them outdoors into your garden beds or containers. Just remember to harden them off gradually first by introducing them to the outdoor elements for increasingly longer periods each day. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What about the time commitment? Well, yes, starting from seed does require a bit more patience and attention to detail. But trust me, the rewards are well worth it. There's something truly magical about watching your tiny seeds sprout into life and develop into strong, healthy plants. It's a process that connects you with nature and fills you with a sense of accomplishment. Now let's talk about feeding our gardens. You see, healthy, fertile soil is the foundation of any thriving garden. And one of the best ways to nourish your soil and give your plants the nutrients they need is by using compost. But here's the thing. You don't need to rush out and buy expensive bags of compost from the garden center. You can easily make your own at home using kitchen scraps and garden waste. It's incredibly simple and rewarding, and it's a fantastic way to reduce your household waste and give back to the environment. All you need is a compost bin or a designated area in your garden where you can layer your organic materials. Think fruit and vegetable peelings, eggshells, coffee grounds, grass clippings, shredded paper, cardboard. The list goes on. These materials break down over time, transforming into a rich, crumbly compost that's packed full of nutrients. Now, there are a few key things to remember when making compost. Firstly, you want to aim for a good balance of green materials like kitchen scraps and brown materials like dry leaves and cardboard. This will ensure your compost has the right mix of nitrogen and carbon for optimal decomposition. Secondly, make sure your compost heap or bin is well aerated. This means turning it regularly with a garden fork or compost aerator to provide oxygen for the microorganisms that are hard at work breaking down the organic matter. And lastly, be patient. Composting takes time, but trust me, the end result is well worth the wait. You'll be amazed at the difference homemade compost makes to the health and vitality of your plants. One of the things I love most about gardening is that it's a hobby that encourages resourcefulness and creativity. And when it comes to saving money, there's no better way to embrace this spirit than by exploring the world of secondhand garden finds. Now, I'm not talking about settling for second best. I'm talking about unearthing hidden gems and giving pre-loved items a new lease of life in your garden. Think of it as a treasure hunt. Yard sales, car boot sales, and online marketplaces are fantastic places to find affordable pots, tools, and even garden furniture. You'll be amazed at what people are willing to part with for a fraction of the original price. And the best part is, you're not just saving money, you're also giving these items a new purpose and preventing them from ending up in landfill. It's a win-win situation. Now, when you're browsing for secondhand garden treasures, don't be afraid to get a bit creative. An old ladder can be transformed into a charming plant stand. A vintage wheelbarrow can become a quirky planter, and even old pallets can be repurposed into vertical gardens or stylish outdoor furniture. With a little imagination and some DIY skills, the possibilities are endless. And remember, imperfections add character and tell a story. So, embrace the rustic charm of pre-loved items and let your personality shine through in your garden design. Now let's talk tools. It's easy to get caught up in the latest gardening gadgets and gizmos, but the truth is, you don't need a shed full of expensive equipment to create a beautiful and productive garden. Some of the most essential gardening tools are also the simplest and most affordable. A good quality hand trowel, a pair of sharp secateurs or pruning shears, and a garden fork will serve you well for a wide range of gardening tasks. And if you're feeling resourceful, you can even find ways to use everyday household items as makeshift gardening tools. An old spoon can double as a trowel for planting seedlings. A plastic milk jug with holes punched in the bottom makes a great watering can, and you can use an old fork to aerate the soil in your pots. The key is to focus on functionality and durability when choosing your gardening tools. Look for tools that are well made and comfortable to use, and don't be afraid to invest in a few key pieces that will last you for years to come. Remember, gardening is about connecting with nature and enjoying the process, not about having the most expensive equipment. So keep it simple, get creative, and focus on the joy of getting your hands dirty. When it comes to choosing plants for your garden, it's easy to be seduced by the instant gratification of colorful annuals. And while there's certainly a place for these cheerful blooms, it's worth considering the long-term benefits of investing in perennials. You see, perennials are plants that come back year after year, saving you money and effort in the long run. Once established, they require relatively little maintenance and provide a reliable source of color, texture, and interest in your garden. There's a vast array of perennials to choose from delicate flowering plants to bold foliage plants, so you're sure to find something to suit your taste and growing conditions. Some of my personal favorites include lavender with its fragrant purple blooms, black-eyed Susans with their cheerful yellow flowers, and hostas with their striking foliage. When selecting perennials for your garden, it's important to consider factors such as soil type, sunlight exposure, and hardiness. Choose plants that are well suited to your local climate and growing conditions to ensure they thrive. And don't be afraid to experiment with different combinations of colors, textures, and heights to create a visually appealing and dynamic garden display. Perennials are a wonderful way to add structure and longevity to your garden, providing beauty and enjoyment for years to come. So there you have it. 5 simple yet effective tips to help you create the garden of your dreams without overspending. Remember, gardening is a journey, not a race. It's about enjoying the process, connecting with nature, and creating a space that brings you joy. Don't be afraid to experiment, to get creative, and to learn from your mistakes. And most importantly, don't let budget constraints hold you back from experiencing the many rewards of gardening. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite budget-friendly gardening tips? Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to create beautiful and abundant gardens without breaking the bank. See? Creating your dream garden doesn't have to cost a fortune. With these budget-friendly tips, you can enjoy the beauty and joy of gardening without stressing about your bank account. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite budget gardening tips in the comments below. Happy gardening!